It's 4:30. This is WKYT This Morning. He is out of jail. The school bus driver charged with a DUI bonded out of the Montgomery County Jail yesterday. WKYT's Garrett Weimer will have more coming up this morning.
He argued that racial diversity is not a strength for America. Our Monique Blair will tell us more about the white nationalists that debated a professor at Kentucky State University yesterday.
And it has been 2 years since 2 Kentuckians were found dead in their home, but police refused to call it murders of the mother and daughter as far as it being a cold case.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you and welcome in. It's so good to have you with us. Here we are on Friday. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Michelle Chamberlain. Thanks so much for joining us. And it's going to be one of those wet, soggy days.
Yeah, some of those April showers out there this morning, and we're getting those pushing through right now. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris.
It's just in time for a lot of us to get into work, right? We're about to head out and about. And here's the look outside. It's not a good look. You got the showers, couple of rumbles of thunder crossing over the Tennessee border, heading off into Wayne County as we speak, but all that's trying to push eastbound. But you know what? It's not going anywhere anytime soon in terms of rain chances, because we still have some toward the afternoon too. We're in the 50s. It's a good feel. Some wet roadways here and there, and we'll finish off right there around 69 degrees later on today. A few storms are in the forecast. Could we see any strong storms out of this? I'll have that coming up in about 10 minutes.
Thank you, Micah. In the news, a school bus driver accused of driving his bus while under the influence is now out of jail.
Brian Fletcher bonded out of the Montgomery County Jail around 6 last night. WKYT's Garrett Weimer talked to a parent who says she had her concerns about Fletcher.
Holly Marlowe's kids have ridden Brian Fletcher's bus for years.
I'm glad finally it's been taken care of.
Fletcher was arrested Wednesday outside Camargo Elementary School after his citation says he drove his bus with a blood alcohol level of .068. Marlowe says she's called and complained about him time and time again, but nothing ever happened.
I hate for anybody to go to jail, but what I'm saying is it should have been taken care of a long time ago.
I was outside the jail here as Fletcher was being released on bond. Before I could get the camera rolling, I asked him if he had anything he'd like to say. He told me he was just visiting a friend. After that, he got in the car and quickly covered up his face with a towel as they drove away.
Yeah, when they're in their influence, it's hard to tell. So I mean, they could never know it until it's too late. It's over.
Parents I talked to were glad Fletcher was arrested before something bad happened. Many told me they want to see more done to test drivers and hold them accountable to make sure their kids are safe.
You know, my girls are the only thing I have. They're my life. And then you see parents on TV and their kids have been run over by the bus driver, and you know, they're supposed to be on that bus to be protected.
In Montgomery County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
In a statement released yesterday afternoon, the Montgomery County School Superintendent says they've suspended Fletcher and are working with authorities to investigate. New this morning, no charges have been filed in the death of a Louisville 2-year-old. Levante Swain died on Monday after a daycare employee left him in an SUV for hours. That was on Wednesday. The state shut down Little Kings and Queens Child Care in Louisville. The Courier-Journal reports Louisville police plan to hand the case over to the Commonwealth Attorney's Office sometime next week.
A well-known white nationalist was on the campus of Kentucky State University to debate racial diversity. The white nationalist Jared Taylor proposed the debate to KSU professor Dr. Wilfred Riley. Dr. Riley agreed, but only if they debated on a historically black college campus like KSU. Hundreds watched yesterday as Taylor and Riley went head-to-head on a very heated topic. WKYT's Monique Blair shows us the arguments.
White nationalist Jared Taylor argued that racial diversity is not a strength for America, saying it causes a constant source of tension and conflict. Taylor said without black people, there wouldn't have been slavery, a civil war, a civil rights movement, or race riots.
I mean, how can diversity that brought those horrors be a strength? The fact remains that the historical balance sheet for black-white racial diversity in the United States is crushingly negative.
Kentucky State University political science professor Dr. Wilfred Riley said Taylor was wrong about everything he said.
When the country was massively, overwhelmingly white, there was far more violence People fought each other on the basis of religion, Catholic versus Protestant, something inherited from Europe. Irishmen fought Italians, who fought Dutchmen, who fought Greeks. The most violent countries in the world are all made up of only one race, and usually one religion.
After Taylor and Dr. Riley each spent about 40 minutes debating, several students from the audience came forward with questions.
What is the root of your racist rhetoric? Is it for preservation, or is it due to fear?
And I feel like there are so many things that are so pressing and so incredibly terrible in this world. I was wondering what your motivation is and why you think this is particularly important.
This whole idea that this source of dissension and conflict in the United States is somehow our greatest strength, that to me is so palpably stupid and wrong that it seems to me somebody has got to stand up and talk about it.
Several students in the audience became upset and passionate during the 2-hour debate. They were asked to take their thoughts to Twitter using hashtag KSUDebate. In Frankfort, Monique Blair, WKYT.
And you can find more details on the 2-hour debate at WKYT.com.
Police are looking for the robber who held up a subway on Nicholasville Road last night. The robbery happened just before 8:30 near Malibu Drive. Police say a man with a mask walked in, implied he had a weapon, and took off with cash. He ran off toward Trader Joe's. Police brought in a K9 unit but lost track of the robber. A man faces a long list of charges after a crash involving 7 cars. State police say 28-year-old Dustin Brockman crashed into 6 other cars last night. It happened on Kentucky 52 near Charlie Norris Road in Madison County. Now, the crash closed the road for several hours. 2 people went to UK hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Brockman's charges include 2 counts of assault, 1 endangerment, and DUI.
It's been 2 years since they were found dead in their home, but police refused to call the murders of a Nelson County mother and daughter a cold case. No arrests have been made in the deaths of Kathy and Samantha Netherland. Police say the tips have been slowing down. They're urging anyone with information to come forward. They say they're sure that someone out there knows what happened.
For us to be able to see a family get some closure, a community get some closure, we never get tired of it. Frustrating, yes, because for those reasons we want to be able to catch the person that's responsible for this, not only for them, but to get them off the streets, because obviously they're capable of anything.
Police have just one major piece of evidence, video of a black Chevy Impala leaving the Netherlands neighborhood around the time of their murders.
A grand jury will decide whether a Powell County woman should be charged after police say she shot her ex-boyfriend. Court records show Melissa Roberts had an emergency protective order out against Stephen Strange. Police say she shot him after he came into her home and confronted her last night. She called 911 after the shooting to report what happened. Now, a friend calls it a case of self-defense.
Okay, just try to stay calm, okay? You hear me?
I'm panicking. I can't stay calm. I just killed a man alive. Mentally, she's just devastated. She said only thing she wanted to do was just shoot him in the leg, let him know, she's done with being abused.
Strange's family told us yesterday they cannot talk about what happened until they talk to state police.
Governor Matt Bevin is asking a judge to dismiss a lawsuit over his cuts to higher education. Attorney General Andy Beshear filed the suit after the governor ordered immediate cuts to colleges and universities, saying that he had overstepped his authority. The attorneys for the governor argue there are statutes allowing the governor's actions.
You can't just pick and choose any cuts you want to make as governor when there is no shortfall. There are laws that prevent you from doing that.
Has the right to revise allotments downward. Now, you've got to understand there's a difference between an appropriation and an allotment. The legislature appropriates money.
The two sides agreed to set aside the $18 million collected from the cuts until a ruling is made. The judge plans to make a decision within 10 to 15 days. Governor Bevin has appointed a former U.S. Marshal as Inspector General of the Finance Cabinet. As part of his role, Kenneth Bohack will help with the investigation into Governor Bevin's accusations of wrongdoing in the administration of former Governor Steve Beshear. The governor says Beshear's administration issued no-bid contracts to benefit friends and forced state workers to donate to Democratic candidates.
You can now report a tip to Lexington Police with a text. The police department launched their new Text a Tip program yesterday. The program is completely anonymous, and when you text a tip, it goes to a third party before the information is delivered to Lexington Police.
When you're asking me, can I assure the trust level in it, That's why we went to an outside source and said we need something to demonstrate the trust that we wouldn't be calling people back.
To text a tip, dial crimes 274637 and start your text with the word LexPD. That's a pretty cool thing.
All right, and we'll see how it all works out. WKYT This Morning is just getting started. The time right now is 4:40.
A new social media challenge could be a danger to your child's body image and health. We'll have more on that challenge when we return on WKYT This Morning.
Showers outside early this morning. A few rumbles of thunder. We're going to talk about that in your weekend forecast coming up.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Pretty wet start to the morning. We're already looking outside just before 5 a.m. and we have showers and even a few rumbles of thunder out and about as you work your way down toward the Somerset region. All that's moving northeast. So if you're sitting in Rockcastle County, Mount Vernon, Livingston, you're going to be seeing a few rumbles of thunder roll on through here in just about 15 to 20 minutes. London, Corbin, more than likely, this is going to stay just to the north of you, but you could still get clipped by that southern cell here in just about 20 minutes or so. And then you got a little bit more to go through that's coming over the Tennessee border. Moving northbound off towards, say, Boyle County, making its way into Lancaster and Gary County. Go off toward Paint Lick, move into Richmond. You guys will be seeing this heavy shower here in just about 20-30 minutes. And then we have bits and pieces here and there, a little bit more rain back towards 65 heading our direction. Heads up Lebanon, heads up Bradfordsville. That's heading your way. Temperatures are in the 50s, 59 degrees there in Richmond and Mount Sterling, Moorhead, Maysville earlier this morning. It's not a bad feel, but remember it's kind of soggy as you step out the doors. Then we go through the day. Now, noon to about 5 p.m. Here's what I cannot rule out. I can't rule out a strong storm in the forecast for today. Most of this is just going to be some beneficial rain to the yard, but nonetheless, you just got to be watching out for that as we travel through your afternoon off into the evening. It really does fade away. I would say by 7, 8 p.m., we'll see those thunderstorms move on out. Maybe a few showers work in from the north, and then by 11 and midnight, you're talking about rain's long gone. So tomorrow morning, waking up there in the 40s and also a pretty good looking weekend in store. Great weather. You're talking 70 degrees on Saturday, 78 degrees on Sunday. We've actually bumped these temperatures down just a bit from the past few days. Thing we have not changed, we have not changed the sky condition. The sky condition is going to be extremely nice. So this weekend looks phenomenal. We just got to get through today. It's a pretty soggy day. Remember, it's on and off, though. You do get breaks there in the forecast. So you'll get some breaks, and then you'll see another shower or thunderstorm pass on through. And it's a pretty good chance for today, especially during these morning hours where you're seeing rain already outside. We get into the afternoon. Afternoon, I would say, is about a 60% chance of rain. And like I was talking about, we're going to be seeing on and off activity throughout your day. So, yes, you will get breaks, but, yes, you will have some showers and thunderstorms to deal with, too. Saturday and Sunday look fantastic. Next week, still no cold shot at air. And it looks like we're going to be seeing some weather slide on in back in the forecast. Pretty active forecast next week, too. But all in all, I mean, this is a pretty good looking forecast in terms of severe weather is relatively low, and I just don't see much in the forecast to really worry about. It's good rain for us. We need it.
A nice weekend, looks like.
Absolutely.
Want to get you just up to the minute on something that we'll have at the top of the hour here with some details. But apparently there is an investigation of an accident on New Circle Road involving a pedestrian. It does not look good at New Circle Road at Industry Road right now, so that area is shut down while the police investigate. We'll let you know as soon as we know more.
Yeah, we'll be sure to keep you updated.
A new social media challenge uses an ordinary piece of printer paper in a potentially dangerous way.
Moms Every Day tells us how this new challenge could be harming your child's body image.
It's called the A4 Waste Challenge. It refers to a standard print or copy piece of paper classified as A4. The trend appears to have started in Asia. Essentially, photos like these have appeared on Instagram and Twitter. The goal of the challenge is to show off a size no wider than that 8-inch piece of paper. Family counselor Aaron Wiley tells Moms Every Day it's important to talk to your teen about challenges like this one that go viral on social media. Trying to attain that size could be dangerous to their health and damaging to their own body image. Wiley recommends parents avoid commenting too much about a child's appearance. It can place too much emphasis on it. Do talk about airbrushing and advertising to help your kids understand when what they're seeing isn't real. In addition, stop disparaging your own body in front of your children. For extensive examples on how to talk to your kids about body image, visit momseveryday.com. I'm Rebecca Rainier.
For these tips and more, just go to WKYT.com and click on Moms Every Day.
And our time this morning is coming up on 4:48. Good to have you with us here on your Friday.
We'll have more news when we come back.
Welcome back in. Our time this morning is 4:50, 10 till 5, and North Carolina's highly criticized bathroom bill says that public bathroom use should be based on biological gender and not gender identity. And within the past weeks, the state has seen singers cancel concerts and companies reevaluate plans to move there because of that bill.
Our Washington Bureau correspondent Alex Miller joins us now. Alex, yesterday in North Carolina got a new, more unlikely critic of Donald Trump. What did he say?
Well, he said that North Carolina should have left the law the way that it was, which was in favor of transgender rights. Now, this is not a popular opinion among conservatives. Take a listen to what Trump said yesterday and then what Cruz said almost immediately after.
So if Caitlyn Jenner were to walk into Trump Tower and want to use the bathroom, you would be fine with her using any bathroom she chooses?
That is correct.
Have we gone stark raving nuts? Grown adult men, strangers, should not be alone in a bathroom with little girls.
Now, an appeals court is chipping away at this law. Just this week, they ruled that a public school student should be able to use a bathroom based on their gender identity and not their biological gender. But we'll likely hear much more from conservatives about Trump's comments today.
All right, interesting, and we thank you, Alex, for coming to us live from the Capitol in Washington this morning. We appreciate it. Interesting controversy across the land. The city of Houston, Texas can't catch a break from the rainy weather that's been ongoing.
Thunderstorms rolled through the city again yesterday, dumping more than an inch of rain. The area is already experiencing flooding from heavy rains earlier in the week. So far, 8 people have died and thousands have been forced from their homes. The death toll from last weekend's earthquake in Ecuador has surpassed 500. At last count, the total reached 570. Another 155 are missing, with more than 7,000 injured. Almost 25,000 people there are in shelters as well. A University of Kentucky doctor is helping raise money for earthquake victims in Ecuador. Dr. Ana Arrua is from Ecuador and was there when the earthquake hit. She and her husband started an online donation campaign to help. Nearly 100 other doctors are helping as well, and the group is more than halfway to their $100,000 goal.
We are so grateful that people are so generous. And I think everyone feels what's going for us and knows what's going on in Ecuador. And Ecuadorians in the United States, they all want to help.
Now, if you'd like to help, we have a link to their fundraising page on our website, WKYT.com.
4:53. Stay with us here on WKYT This Morning.
When we come back, we'll have another look at your morning forecast.
Good morning. Welcome back into WKYT This Morning. 4:56 with some showers in the Lexington metro area.
Yes, now it's time to take a look at some of the stories we're working on at this hour.
Well, he would have been 34 today in honor of Officer Daniel Ellis. The city of Richmond will be renaming its police headquarters today. Ellis was killed in the line of duty last November. WKYT's Mark Barber will be live in Richmond this morning with more details on the dedication.
A death investigation has a stretch of New Circle Road in Lexington shut down. Police say a man's body was found just before 4:30 this morning on New Circle Road at Industry Road near Eastland Parkway.
We have a live report coming up momentarily on that here as we update you on that. But again, it is New Circle at Industry Road, so we'll keep you informed. We do have, and at that point also had a shower moving through the area that's reducing visibility some this morning. Micah, everybody needs to be careful out there this morning.
Yeah, as you're traveling, absolutely, because you're getting some heavy downpours in some spots, especially across 75 at this moment. Getting a bit of a break in between 75 and 65, but here comes some more rain. I'm going to go over that, show you where these thunderstorms are toward the afternoon if we have any. Coming up with another 2 hours, WKYT News.